Hello everyone, I'm Geraldine and welcome to G Crochet Off the Hook. Now for today, we are exploring ideas, practical, decorative, joyful and fun, so that perhaps Christmas time, our busy little hands may have more time for hugs and less worry on last minute makes, which means this is my second edition of Christmas Extravaganza 2026. This is hosted by KK and Kristen from K&K Crochet and many other wonderful friends in the crafting community. And today I really wanted to share with you my love of snowflakes. Now perhaps we won't ever see a snowflake fall in the southern hemisphere, but I have been blessed to have many white Christmases when we lived in Europe. So my first snowflake project is a paper project. Yes, sometimes I think it's a great idea to take a break from our crocheting and knitting and be expressive with paints or paper or crayons and so forth. So I had a good look around to see if I could remember how to fold a 3D paper snowflake. Now what's wonderful is all you need is 6 sheets of square paper, and when I was making all of these I was reminded, because I found a stack of crafting paper that I've had. If you don't have square paper, it's not a worry, because all you need to do is fold your rectangle piece of paper into a square and cut off that excess piece of paper and you'll be set. You need 6 of them. And when you have that, I'm going to link a tutorial. You just need to fold each one of those pieces of paper into 6 petals and create yourself an awesome 3D paper snowflake. Now I've made so many of these over the years, and sadly not in the last at least 6 years, I'd say. So I had so much fun making this. Now I used just random sheets of paper that I had, and your snowflake can be as different as all the thousands and thousands of snowflakes that fall are. So I made one like this with some origami paper that I had. I also took some solid colored pieces of paper, made them into squares, and then created a different snowflake just with the solid papers. I also made one, now this one I do remember making from this particular crafting paper. It's a much thicker crafting paper, and this one really reminds me of a snowflake or one of those Walt Disney movies where they have the snow in their scenes. And then I made a tiny one with just some odd note paper pieces that had random colors on it. So just 6 pieces of paper, square paper. You'd need, I've made this one only using staples. I've made this one with a staple in the middle and double-sided tape on the sides. And these other ones I made with a combination of the two together. And then I couldn't resist, because as I was going through all these bits of paper that I had, I came across one of my A3 sketch pads, and I thought, would I be able to make a snowflake from an A3 sheet of paper? Of course I squared it off, and I did. So my craft room at the moment, and it is winter here by us, and even though I won't see a snowflake in real life, I can certainly see quite a number of them in the craft room. So this is a fun activity to do. Well, I did these by myself, but it's always fun to have your kids or friends making decorations like this that you could hang up during the festive season. So that was snowflake number 1. Oh, this big one just makes me giggle every time I walk in here. Right, that was snowflake number 1. Now snowflake number 2, and this is one that I have been doing for a few years. And the 3 that I have here, fortunately, you won't be able to see, but they are rather a little bit tatty, but they are definitely quite dirty. And that's because they have been hanging up in a nook by our front door for however many years I've been making these. And this is a crocheted snowflake. The first one that I ever made, I made with Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. So there is a video tutorial for it, but there's also a PDF from Yarnspiration, and that is what they call the jeweled snowflake. This was the first one that I ever made. And over the years I have added, this is the second one. I can see on the white how it's quite dusty actually, because it's just been hanging there by the nook by the front door for many years actually. Never taken them down, and this was the third one. Now the strange thing was that when I looked up the pattern that I had saved on my laptop, and I made a fresh one, and this one is more Frozen inspired, where I used some sparkling yarn with a blue, a very light purple, a dark purple to the blue, and then the lilac. It really has a lot of sparkle on it. Unfortunately, you can't quite see it. But what I loved about these when I made them is that I have always got a jar of these in with the Christmas decorations, and that is, I top this up every year. It smells, oh my gosh, I could imagine it being Christmas time right now. It is filled with cinnamon sticks, star anise, and some clove bits. And as I make projects with them and it becomes depleted, I usually just fill it up in this jar. So with this jeweled snowflake, it's a lovely quick make. There's 4 rounds for the center circle piece, of which you make 2, and then there's just 4 more rounds to finish off your actual snowflake look. Now, before I completely seal this middle section, I will pop in here, and you can use an organza bag or not. These aren't in any bag. They're literally just in the piece. I will crush up some of the cinnamon sticks, not into powder, just make them a wee bit smaller. And I'll grab some of the star anise and the cloves, and I'll put them down in here. And I tell you what, if you just, this one I don't need to, I can just, it's so fragrant, I can just smell it. It reminds me of Christmas biscuits baking or glühwein, and just that whole fireplace scene on a cozy evening with the snow falling outside. So even these very old ones, if I just crunch them like this a little bit, oh, I love the spiced smell. I really do. And since I have all of the goodies out, I will be making my daughter a few of these so that she also has them for this Christmas coming up. She's always seen them here at home, and I reminded her of the star anise and the cinnamon sticks that I've put inside. So I hang them by a nook by the front door. And also these spices are good for keeping some bugs out. So it does have a little bit of a dual purpose. But that might be a snowflake that you'd like to make. And scented. Of course, you could have other little scented bits inside the middle as well. But specifically for Christmas time, I do love that I'm always keeping this closed up in our Christmas decoration box. And then last but certainly not least is actually taking on a sweet little snowflake. And I love making these. These are just 3 rounds. It's a really beautiful snowflake design that reminds me of little snowflakes falling. And these are awesome to actually attach to a little gift. Or you could make a whole row of them and hang them up together as a garland, as a Christmas decoration. So all of these that I have shared with you today, there will be a tutorial or a pattern linked in the description, and I hope that your snowflakes keep you warm at heart, but give you that Christmas feeling as you make your list for makes that you may want to make before the rush of the Christmas season comes around.